Well, hi guys, I'm Celestial Shadows, and welcome back to Princess Evangile. And we're on chapter 6, I think. Just can't shake this exhaustion. You're pathetic. It's already Monday. You need to get it together already. I know you're right, but I ended up staying up the whole night. So did everyone else. I guess that's true. Although, wait a minute. The rest of them got to take breaks between dances, while I was stuck in dance after dance. It was like some kind of perverse martial arts training. The way I was passed between the White Lily girls, Konami-chan, Tommy-chan, and the others. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that I never got a single break, though I did have fun, at least. We have the approval ratings for the next week. Or for the week. As she spoke, Rise-san slid the report onto the table. Do you mean Masaya-san's? Was there a change? There were no classes for half of the week. We started out low, of course, but it looks like we picked up a little support. Oh, you're right. Let me see. You still seem to be flying low to me. Even an Olympic pole vaulter needs a running start before the jump. We're still in the phase. A running start? Well, as long as you don't knock over the bar. But I wonder, what caused the increase? It's small, but even so, I'm intrigued. The ever-serious Ritsuko-chan narrowed her eyes at the results. I wonder, perhaps the others were simply mesmerized by Masaya-san's graceful dancing. Probably not. Graceful? Really? I just mean that for your first time, you improved greatly through the night. That is true. You've always been pretty good at physical stuff. Do you really think improvement at dancing would lead to an increase in support? It does seem rather unlikely. I wonder if it might be this. Rise-san produced another piece of paper. But why would something like this increase the teenager serpent's approval rating? What do you mean? He did save you after all. That cherry tree was really quite tall. You could have hurt yourself very badly if you hit the ground from that height. That's true, I suppose. I guess there were some people who were really impressed by the article. I guess that's it.
みんな間違っています。
You've got it all wrong! Konami-chan was trembling, her face scarlet.
この時私が一体どんな気持ちになったことか。
None of you understand how I felt in that moment.
どんな気持ちになったの？
How do you feel in that moment?
ですから、魔力にでも当てられた気持ちというか。
But, I felt as if he had to use some kind of sorcery on me.
魔力ってあなたね。
Do you really believe in sorcery?
好み、周りが間違っているというのなら、よくわからない言い方はやめて、せめて具体的に言ってみなさい。
Konami, if we have the wrong impression, then please stop talking nonsense and explain the matter concretely.
具体的には、つまり赤ちゃん作らされちゃうっていうそんな感じです。
Concretely? It felt like there was a baby forming inside of me.
とにかくお姉様すみませんでした。
Anyway, Oni-sama, I'm so sorry.
何が？
Huh? About what?
私のせいで結果的にマサヤ様の支持率が上がってしまって。
It's my fault that Messiah-sama's approval rating has increased.
好み、バンセンヌにサンプルを受け入れることはすでに決まったことだわ。
Konami, Vincennes has already accepted the sample. We cannot change that.
ということは、つまりその趣旨に沿うのであれば。
Which means that if we are to follow the spirit of the exercise,
私たちに必要なことはサンプルのマサヤ様の実像を知るよう努めること。
then we must work to fathom the samples, Messiah-sama's true colors.
あえて貶めることもなく、あくまで実像に迫ることが大事なんじゃないかしら。
Thus, the most important thing is not to oppose him blindly, but to search for those true colors.
はい。
Right.
だから好みが謝ることはないわ。これがマサヤ様の実像でみんなが好ましいと思う。あるいはその逆だとしても。
Therefore, you have no need to apologize. Messiah-sama will show his true colors, and others may approve, or perhaps they will not.
いずれにしろ責任はマサヤ様にあってあなたにはないのだから。
Either way, the responsibility belongs to Messiah-sama, and not to you.
はい。
Right. Konami-chan must really have hated me. Not even Oni-sama's words could get her to accept it.
そうね。
She's right. The agreement came from an unexpected source. I turned my eyes towards her.
正しいのはあくまでその人の本当の姿。その通りだわ。
The righteous thing to do is to find out who he truly is. That's exactly right.
さすがね、ベルエピーヌ。やっぱり回答を任せてよかったわ。
You're as wise as ever, Bellepine. I'm glad that I entrusted you with our society's leadership. Yes. Speaking of which, Rise-san, there's something I've been wanting to ask you. The White Lily Society hasn't been able to get any new affiliates. What would you think about inviting Ayaka-san?
彩香様？
Ayaka-sama? I thought it was a good idea personally, but Rise-san didn't seem enthused by it.
でもどうして？
But why? At the dance party, she came off like a pretty friendly person. I thought it might be worth a try to invite her. Rise-san turned her eyes to Ritsuko-chan uncertainly. I wonder why it bothers her so much. Furthermore, it was unusual for Rise-san to be so evasive.
姉はそういうことには興味がないので、誘っても多分承諾はしないかと思います。
My sister has little interest in such things. Even if you invited her, it is unlikely that she would accept. Huh, I see. I guess it's no good then. To the 10th. And still after school. The next day after class, I opened up my shoebox only to let out a noise of surprise. I clamped a hand over my mouth and took a look around. Thank goodness. No one was watching me. There was a reason for my shock, of course. There was a letter in my shoebox. I swallowed, then reached out and quickly took out the envelope. I turned it over quickly. It was addressed to Okanagi Masai-sama. Sama means it's from someone younger, I guess. My mind was in a haze, but I could figure out that much. Then, I looked at the back. It was sealed with a sticker, the color and shape of which drew my attention. It was a pink heart. It was! There could be no question. In my entire life, I had never received a love letter. Never received any nice mail either. The only thing I ever got were demand notes from collectors. There was also that damn Dear John letter from my old man. That's the kind of thing I got. So this is a love letter? It was such a change from my past that my heart fluttered with joy. Even my hands were trembling. I realized I had to go somewhere else in a hurry. I quickly sashed it under my uniform and began an awkward walk back to the dorm. I didn't even make it outside when I felt a tap on my shoulder. My whole body went stiff.
マサヤさん、どうしました？なんだか前かがみになっているみたいですが。
Masai-san, whatever is the matter? You seem a bit slouched for some reason. Oh, yeah. My stomach hurts a little, that's all.
まあ、それはいけませんね。
My, how terrible! Now turn to
室
Bell
に
sad.
行った方がいいですよ。もしよければ私が付き添いますが。
Perhaps you should visit the nurse's office. I could accompany you if you wish. No. That's fine. I know where it is.
わかりました。
Very well. Bye. And I just run off.
マサヤさん、校舎の外に保健室はありませんけど。
Masai-san. There's no nurse's office outside the school building. Hiroko-san said something, but I ignored her and rushed outside. I rushed like a whirlwind through the crowds of elegantly strolling maidens of Vincennes, heading back to the dorm. There was no actual need to rush, but I just couldn't wait. I wanted to read it. That was all I could think about.
マサヤさん、遅いわね。
Masai-san is running awfully late.
あ、なんでもお腹が痛いそうです。帰り昇降口でお見かけしたのですが。
It appeared that his stomach hurt. I ran into him in the entryway.
お腹？そうなの。6時間目が終わるまでは普通に見えたけど。
His stomach? I see. He looked fine when I saw him at the end of 6th period.
6時間目が終わるまでって、要するに直前までってこと？
The end of 6th period? Wouldn't that be just before?
そういうことになるのかしら。
That would be the case.
じゃあ差し込みってやつかな。
I guess it was a sudden onset.
そうですね。しかもきっと強烈な。
I suppose so. It appeared to be quite severe.
そんなに痛そうにしていたの？大丈夫かなあいつ。
Did it really look that bad? I hope he's okay.
いえ、ただ私が外には保健室はありませんよと言ったのに、そ そのまま出て行ってしまいましたから。
Ah, but when I told him that the nurse's office was not outside, he continued running anyway.
つまり
What does that mean?
痛さのあまり耳に入らなかったのではないかと。
That the pain was so great that he did not hear me, perhaps.
部屋に戻っただけじゃないの？
You don't think he was just going back to his room?
ただ場所ならわかると言っていたので、てっきり行くつもりなのかとも思ったのですが。
But he told me I know where it is, which would indicate that he intended to go there himself.
じゃあちょっと変だね。あれか、トイレに行きたかっただけかな。
Well, that is a little strange. Maybe he just needed to go to the bathroom.
かもしれないですね。
Perhaps so. And back to Messiah. I ran back to my room and immediately locked the door. I threw my bag down, then dashed across the room and sat down heavily onto my bed. The love letter was a little moist with sweat from having been hidden under my uniform. I peeled away the heart mark sticker with more care than was really necessary and peeked inside the envelope. Wow, floral. The moment it was open, the smell of perfume tickled my nose. I was starting to get excited. I removed the nicely folded stationery, took in a breath, and read the contents. Cute, girlish handwriting requested a meeting with me in the rose garden immediately after class. Can I still make it? Flustered, I stood back up and checked my watch. It had been 15 minutes since the bell had rung to mark the end of the classes. I vaulted over the table and ran to the door. Clatter, clatter. Why did the knob have to choose this moment to break? More clatter. Actually, it's just that I'd locked it before. The Feliz de la Vinces eyed me suspiciously as I ran down the hallway, but I didn't care. I scrambled to put on my shoes and flew outside, heading straight for the rose garden. Oh, huh? Is she not here? There were people there, of course. This was where students came to relax. But there was no one who seemed to be waiting for anyone, or who paid special attention to me when I arrived. I clutched at my head and writhed in agony. Probably writhe. Eek, what is he doing? Does he have a headache? The letter had said immediately after class, which meant that I had arrived 15 minutes late. The ladies of Vincennes were almost certainly not used to this kind of thing. I pulled out the love letter for one last try, but the sender didn't emerge, which meant I had been dumped. I withdrew quietly and threw myself off a cliff. Really? At least that's what I felt like doing. Oh! There he goes again. It's awfully unsettling. Oh God, what had I done? I was joking about throwing myself off a cliff, but the truth was I had done wrong by that girl. And I felt bad for myself too. After she went through all that trouble to confess like that. If only I had just opened that letter the moment I found it. I took another fearful glance around me. That was strange. All of the students had disappeared. Guess I'll go home. I knew it was Aika.
やっぱり可愛いわね、まさやくん。
He'd probably be the only one out of all the girls to actually do it. Or have the guts to do it. You really are cute, Masaya-kun. So she just stood there and watched him. Wow. That one lonely bag. Well, there's more, but it's only colorful one. What a shame. I was still kicking myself the next day. I didn't know why I'd gotten so worked up about a love letter. I didn't even know what she looked like. I didn't even know her name. Afterwards, I had reread the letter, and there was no name attached to it. There was a signature, but it only read Placentire, probably. I never heard that title before, but I thought Rise-san or one of the others might know. But I couldn't ask them without telling them what happened. So for now, it remained a mystery. The reason for my elation and subsequent disappointment wasn't just because the girl confessed to me. In all honesty, I wasn't particularly interested in dating at the moment. In other words, leaving all love and romance out of it, I was just happy to have made a connection with someone. On that night, we fled the city. I had cut ties with everyone I knew. I had even lost my closest childhood friend. You might even say my closest friend, period. All on the off chance that I might cause trouble for them. Since then, I kept to myself in class and at work. No friends, and certainly no girlfriend. And in that entire year, I didn't see a single sign that my old man was working to pay back his loan. By the end, I had started to go crazy, thinking my entire life would be like this. That all changed when it came to Vincine's. Now I didn't have to worry about money. I had lots of friends, and I couldn't even get a girlfriend. And I could even get a girlfriend if I wanted. But what I really wanted, more than anything, was that connection with someone. Even if not a girlfriend, I just wanted ordinary friends. I wanted as many connections as I could form. That's what I wanted.
Masaya-san, 今日は元気ないのね。まだお腹が痛いの?
Masaya-san, you seem rather listless today. Does your stomach still hurt? Huh?
昨日、ルリコさんがそんなことを言っていたけど、違うの?
Yesterday, Yuriko-san mentioned that you had a stomachache. Was she mistaken? Oh, I quickly nodded. Yeah, that's right. I pressed my hands against my stomach to reinforce the point.
何かしら、日をまたいでも続くなんて、まさか食中毒ではないでしょうし、ちょっと心配になってしまうわね。
What could it be? You've been acting this way all day. I hope it isn't food poisoning. I'm rather worried. Oh, but I appended quickly. I didn't want her worrying about me over a lie. I think I'm feeling better. Yeah, the pain's almost gone. Actually, there's just a little nausea, and that should probably be gone before lunchtime.
そう、ならいいのだけど。
I see. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Oh, nothing. I wanted to ask her, who is Placentire, but in the end, I couldn't bring myself to do it. It was after class. I was walking down the hall when I felt a tinge of anticipation in my chest. I wonder if it's a premonition or just wishful thinking. I was wondering if I was about to get another love letter from Placentire. Probably wasn't a premonition, of course. But even so, I couldn't keep the restlessness out of my steps. I glanced into my shoebox. I let out a long, deep breath and opened the door. And then, it's there. The words slipped from my lips. I must be psychic after all. Alright. To avoid the same mistakes as last time, I opened it on the spot. I just had to do it boldly, as they thought I was just reading some ordinary paper. No one would assume it was a love letter. It's the cathedral this time.
あら、マサヤさん。
Oh, Masaya-san. Ah. Yuriko-san looked down at my hand. A moment later, her eyes began to sparkle.
あら、あらあら、ママ。
Oh. Oh my. Oh my. Huh?
マサヤさんが持っている紙、それはもしかしてラブレターでしょうか?
That paper that you're holding, could it be a love letter by chance? Where did you get that idea?
なぜといえば。
Well, she looked around.
昇降口ですので、恋文は靴箱に。それが作法かと。
This is the entryway. Love letters go in the shoebox. That is the rules of these things. That was right. Even I had guessed it was a love letter when I saw that envelope in my shoebox. That's not true. I gave her a stiff smile and shoved the love letter into my pocket. Me? Get a love letter? That's ridiculous.
そうでしょうか。別におかしくはないと思いますが。
Really? It doesn't seem that unusual to me. I shook my head quickly. Well, I'm off.
会合だ。
Ah, but the society meeting. Hiroko-san said something, but I ignored her and rushed outside. I rushed like a whirlwind through the crowds of elegantly strolling maidens of Inseeds heading back to their dorms. Once again, the exact same line. It occurred to me that I had never been to the cathedral before. I steadied myself and pushed open the door. Wow, this is one huge cathedral. And there's Mitsuko-san, or Mitsuko-chan. I gasped. There was no one else there, which meant she must have been the one who sent the love letter. Hayaka causing trouble again for her sister. But that wasn't the only reason for the tightness in my chest. It was the sight of her, head bowed and hands pressed together. It was an image of the divine. I had unconsciously stifled the sound of my approach, but she slowly turned towards me.
マサヤ様だったんですか。
It's you, Masaya-sama. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to startle you.
いえ。
Not at all. She must have heard the sound of the door opening and closing. She gave me a small bow, then attempted to slip past me to the door. Excuse me.
何か。
Yes? Mitsuko-chan, are you alone? She gave a quick look around, then nodded.
そのようですね。
It appears that I am.
それが何か。
What of it? Nothing. It's just strange. It's such a large place.
お御堂はあまり人は来ないんです。
Not many people come to the cathedral. Why not?
何がある場所でもありませんし。
Nothing much happens here. I guess that's true. It was my first time coming here myself, after all. But Ritsuko-chan comes to the cathedral alone, on her own time. Just then, a beam of light shone through the door. There was a heavy creaking, and the silhouette of a person appeared in the open doorway. Ritsuko-chan turned back to look.
姉さん。
Sister?
ごきげんよ。
Salutations!
どうしたの。姉さんがお御堂に来るなんて。
What's going on? You never come to the cathedral. It was my first time seeing the sisters together. See, their eye colors aren't the same. Anime logic. Hers is more of a violet and hers is more of a red. Well, I noticed something familiar about Ayaka-san when we first met, but seeing them side by side, they gave off very different impressions.
マサヤくんを見かけたのよ。
I caught sight of Masaya-kun. Huh? Me?
お御堂なんかに一体何の用？
I wondered what you were doing here at the cathedral. I wrapped my arms around my head and writhed in agony.
お祈り？それともランデブーかしら？
Did you come to pray? Or is it a rendezvous? A rendezvous, perhaps? Rendez what? The word was familiar, but I didn't know what it meant. A sweet fragrance brushed against my face, and I felt my thoughts grow hazy. Combined with the softness pressing against my arm, it was all too much to take.
合いびきってことよ。
It means a lover's meeting. She breathed the words hotly in my ear.
何してるのよ姉さん。はしたないわ。
What are you doing, sister? It's disgraceful.
だってよくある光景じゃない。こんな風にじゃれ合うことは。
What? But you see people talking like this all the time.
マサヤ様は男性だわ。
Masaya-sama is a boy.
意識しすぎなのよリツコは。
You worry too much, Ritsuko, right? Huh? She murmured the word right in my ear. It tickled and caused my body to squirm a little.
そんなことありません。
That is absolutely not true. As she spoke, Ritsuko-chan roughly pulled Ayaka-san off of me.
もうだいたいここはお御堂よ。場所を考えて。
Really? This is still a cathedral. Show a modicum of respect.
待て待て、信徒でもないのに。
Oh, please. There's no believers here.
相変わらずお堅いわねリツコは。
You're such a stickler for the rules, Ritsuko.
姉さんにかかれば誰でもお堅くなるわよ。
Compared to you, everyone is.
そうかしらね。
You may be right.
決まってます。
I am right. I'd never seen Ritsuko-chan like this before. She was always so detached. Even during her arguments with Konami-chan, she never dropped that facade. Oh well. Now she was showing some actual emotion. I was seeing her in an all-new light.
マサヤ様、すみませんでした。
Masaya-sama, I apologize. Huh?
姉が失礼なことをしてしまって。
My sister has offended you. Oh, no. She didn't really.
何が失礼なものですか。マサヤくんはきっと嬉しかったわよ。ねえ。
I can't think of how I offended him. Masaya-kun likes it, right? I couldn't really deny that, but I could feel the weight of Ritsuko-chan's gaze on me.
そんなはずはないでしょ。好きでもないのに抱きつかれて喜ぶ男子が世の中にいるとは思えないわ。
Of course he doesn't. What man would be happy to be grabbed on to by someone he isn't even in love with?
わかってないわねリツコは。世の中そんな聖人君子ばっかりだったら人類は滅亡してしまうわよ。
You just don't understand, Mitsuko. Not everyone in this world is the same. If they were, civilization would collapse.
どうなのでしょうかマサヤ様。私の言っていることが正しいのか、それとも姉さんの方が正しいのか。
What do you think, Masaya-sama? Is my sister correct? Or am I? I'm not really sure. I found myself sweating under Ritsuko-chan's direct questioning. But, well, there are a lot of types of people in the world, and they all have their own taste.
そんなつまらない一般論を聞きたいんじゃなくてよマサヤくん。
I wasn't asking for platitudes, Masaya-kun. Huh?
聞きたいのは君がどう思ったかでしょ。
What we want to hear is what you're thinking, right?
私が聞きたいのはむしろ一般論の方だけど。
I would prefer the platitude myself.
せっかく生きたサンプルが目の前にいるというのにリツコは生の情報を知りたくはないわけ？
But you have a living sample right in front of you. Wouldn't you rather hear it from the horse's mouth?
まあそうですね。ではマサヤ様個人としてはどう思ったのでしょう。
Well, I suppose so. What is your personal opinion, then, Masaya-sama?
嬉しかったわよね。
Does it make you happy?
マサヤ様がそんな人とは私も思いたくはありませんが。
I don't wish to believe that you could be that kind of person. But as before, I felt the weight of Ritsuko-chan's gaze. What should I do? Do I have an actual choice? Whether I lied or told the truth, I was in trouble. If I told the truth, Ritsuko-chan would think less of me. If I lied, it would offend Ayaka-san. Well, probably not that much.
そんな人ってあんたね。 そんな風に言ったらマサヤくんも答えにくいじゃないの。
That kind of person? Come on! How's Masaya-kun supposed to answer when you put it like that? Huh?
嬉しくなかったと言えと言ってるようなものだわ。
You're trying to force him to say he wasn't happy.
姉さんこそ誘導的な言い方をしたくせに。
You're the one who was leading him along before.
あら、私はいいのよ。私には正解が分かっているもの。
Fine. Then I withdraw the question. I know the answer, anyway.
はいはい。
Yes, yes.
まあ、1学期末のボートもあることだし、ここでイメージを落とすのも良くないかしらね。
Well, you have the first time vote coming up. It wouldn't do to damage your image now. Ayaka-san turned a smile back to me.
本当は悪いことなんてないのよ。でも律子は潔癖だから。
It's really not a bad thing, you know. Mitsuko is just so fastidious. Fastidious. Well, huh.
ということで、この件は保留ということにしておきましょうか。
So, why don't we put the matter on hold for now? I felt an honest sense of relief at Ayaka-san's words, but Ritsuko-chan's determination only grew.
でも私、マサヤ様の実像を知りたいと思うから。
But my intention is to find out Masaya-sama's true colors.
もしも印象が悪くなるなら、それはもう少し後でもいいんじゃない？
If you're going to get a bad impression of him, why not save it until later? Huh?
だってもったいないでしょ？行動としては同じでも、人によって許せたり許せなかったりというのはよくある話だわ。
I just think it's such a waste. There are people you forgive and those you don't forgive for what are ultimately the same actions.
潔癖な律子としては、男子がエッチなのは許せない。そうね。
You're a fastidious person, so you can't forgive a man for thinking dirty thoughts, right? Well, yes.
まあそれはそれで結構だけど、でも今マサヤくんのことを嫌いになってしまうのはもったいないと思うのよね。
Well, that's fine in and of itself, but right now, I think it would be a waste if you started hating Masaya-kun.
であれば、もうちょっと好きになってから実像に迫ってみるのもありなんじゃないかしらね。
So once you start to like him a bit more, you'll be able to learn his true colors, and not mind.
好きって
Like him?
変な意味じゃないわよ。友人としてってこと。
I don't mean it in that way. I mean like a friend.
わかりました。
Very well. Mitsuko-chan nodded in resignation. You really are sisters, right?
ええ、私が不詳の姉で、こっちがよくできた妹よ。
Yes, I'm the bad sister, and she's the good sister. I can see it. You really seem like you belong together. As an only child, I couldn't help but feel a little jealous.
あら、私たちのことをそんな風に言ったのは、きっと番宣の史上では君が初めてよ。
Wow, you may be the only person in Vincine's history to say that.
史上っていくらなんでも大げさだわ。
In history? That seems like a bit of an exaggeration.
まあそうだけど、でも律子も初めて聞いたでしょ。
Maybe it is, but it's the first time you've heard it, right, Ritsuko?
まあそれは。
That is true.
でも姉さん、マサヤ様は外部の人だけあって新鮮な見方をしてくれたみたいよ。
But sister, Masaya-sama's role as an outsider means he brings many fresh perspectives.
新鮮な見方って？
Fresh perspectives?
姉さんとのダンスの後、マサヤ様が姉さんについて言っていたわ。
After the dance, he talked to me about his impression of you.
なんて言ったのよ。
What did you say about me? She nudged me with her elbow, smiling in delight. Oh, well, I just said you were friendly and easy to talk to. Or something like that.
そっか。
I see.
姉さんのことをそんな風に言う人、私は初めて見たから。
He was the first person I'd ever met who said that about you.
ま、そうでしょうね。
Well, that may be true. Ayaka-san shrugged.
君、バンセンヌで私がなんて呼ばれているか知ってる？知らないか。
Do you know what I'm known as at Vincennes? I suppose you don't.
北ニカド様の妹さんじゃない方ですってよ。芸人コンビの売れない方じゃないんだから。
The other, Kita Mikoto, like the least popular member of a comedy troupe. I couldn't help but laugh. You don't have a title then?
そんないいものあるはずないわよ。あれはね、バンセンヌじゃ一種のステータスなんだから。
Oh, nothing neat like that. That's reserved for people with a certain level of status. Which meant that Santere wasn't Ayaka-san. I felt a little disappointed.
それは姉さん自身に問題があるからでしょ。
I think that's your own fault, sister.
あら、どんな問題よ。
In what way, exactly? Mitsuko-chan didn't answer, but spoke to me instead.
マサエ様も気をつけた方がいいですよ。姉はしょっちゅう問題を起こすので。
You should be aware, Masaya-sama, that my sister is a troublemaker. Right. With that, Mitsuko-chan left the cathedral.
やれやれ、リツコもほんとお堅いんだから。
For heaven's sake, Mitsuko-san's such a stickler for the rules.
さっきのだって、あれは一種のコミュニケーションよ。ねえ。
That stuff earlier was just our way of communicating, right? Oh, she acted like we were in agreement, but I wasn't actually sure how to respond to that.
もちろん、好ましくもない相手にあんなことはしないけどね。
Of course, I would never do something like that to someone I didn't like.
マサヤくんは可愛いから、それでついいたずらしたくなっちゃうのよ。
You're cute, Masaya-kun. That's why I like to mess with you. So it wasn't just a way of communicating?
どっちかしら。まあ、半々よ、半々。
What do you think? Half and half, I guess. Huh.
それじゃまたね。ごきげんよう。
Anyway, I'm out. Salutations. Oh, right.
そういえば、
Speaking of which... Yes?
君、本当におみどうなんかに何しに来たのかしら。まさか妹とランデブーなんてことはないわよね。
What did you come to the cathedral for? It wasn't for a rendezvous with my little sister, was it? Oh no, nothing like that.
じゃあ、もしかして国会？でもバーセンヌに神父様はいないわよ。
Confession then? But Vincennes doesn't have priests. I hesitated, then decided it might be worth confiding in Ayaka-san. She was so easy to talk to, and she was older than me. She could make a good confidante. The truth is...
お、何やら打ち明け話の雰囲気ね。うんうん、お姉さんが聞いてあげる。さあ、こっちこっち。
Oh, this smells like a confession. Go on, tell your big sister. Come on, right here. At her urging, I took a seat. The chair was hard and a little bit chilly.
手を握って励ましてあげるから。さあ、何でも言ってごらんなさい。
I'll hold your hand to give you courage. Go on, tell me everything. You don't need to hold my hand.
そうね。
Too bad. I told her everything that had happened yesterday. The center was someone called Santere. Do you know who it is, Ayaka-san?
ああ、ええ、もちろん。だってその子、学園の有名人だもの。
Of course. She's well known throughout the campus after all. Well known? Really? I'd never heard of the name before.
まあ、マサヤくんが知らないのも無理はないでしょうね。だってその子、とってもシャイなことで有名な美少女だもの。
Well, it stands to reason that you haven't heard of her. She's a real beauty, but she's known for being extremely shy. Wow. Real beauty? I didn't necessarily want to date her, but the news still made my heart leap.
だから、 例えば廊下なんかで君の姿を見かけても警戒心の強い猫みたいにさっと隠れちゃう。
So, if she saw you in the hallway, she would probably run into hiding like a nervous alley cat.
でもそんな風に遠いところから見つめているうちに次第と恋心が募っていったんじゃないかしらね。
But even so, he probably kept watching you from afar, gradually nurturing a longing for you. Wow. I feel like she's making all this up. This was sounding really good.
昨日も今日も姿を現さないのはそうした性格が影響してのことなのよ、きっと。
The reason she never showed herself to you, today or yesterday, is because she's the kind of person she is. You mean because she's shy?
手紙は出せてもいざとなると顔を合わせる勇気が出なくなる。そういうことじゃないかしらね。
Wait, she was able to give you that letter, but when it came down to it, she couldn't work up the courage to face you. I bet that's what's going on. I see.
君、プレゼントリーのことはどう思ってるの？
What do you think of Plansantere? Well, I don't think anything of her, one way or the other, but I would like to meet her if I could. She went through so much trouble and...
あと？
And? Well, I couldn't bring myself to talk about my desire for human connections. I just shook my head vaguely.
相手が美少女だからでしょう。
Because she's a beauty, right? Well, I guess so.
じゃあ、私からアドバイス。粘り強く相手の言うことを聞いてあげることね。
Anyway, here's some advice from me to you. Keep at it and do exactly as she says. As she says?
だから、どこで会いたいとか、結局現れないにしても。
Like, about where she wants to meet and such. If you never see her. She trailed off and took a long look around the uninhabited cathedral.
どこかで見ているかもしれない。ソンブルスキャナーみたいにね。
She's probably still watching from afar. Just like Sunbury Scanner. Oh, I see.
そうして彼女の要望に応えているうちに、きっとシャイで堅くなな心は溶けていくはずだから。
If you just keep giving in to her demands, she'll eventually manage to overcome her shyness. I see.
じゃあ、頑張ってよね、マサヤくん。
Well, good luck, Masaya-kun. And already to May 14th. Skip 4 days. It was Saturday, 3 days later. Or 3 days. Rise-san was very angry with me. I skipped like 5 days of meetings.
ちょっとマサヤさん、今日こそは会合に出ていただくわよ。
Please, Masaya-san, you have to come to our meeting today. Right.
それはね、今は暇ということは事実よ。話し合う議題があるわけでもないわ。
The truth is, we mostly have free time. There's no particular business to discuss at the moment.
でもよくって、たとえ何もすることがないにしても、今は顔を合わせること自体が大事だと思うの。
But even if there's nothing to discuss, it's important that you come to meetings.
そうして結束を強めていく。それこそが今の白百合会には必要だと私は思うのだけど、あなたの方はいかがかしら？
That will strengthen the bonds between us. I believe that is what the White Lily Society needs more than anything right now. Don't you agree? Oh, yeah, I do agree. My, Rise-san is scolding him. I wonder what he could have done.
とりあえずマリア館に行きましょうか。
Anyway, let's go to Maria Hall. Right. We left the classroom to find Chio and Yuriko-san already waiting for us.
さてと、今日こそはちゃんと会合に出てもらうわよ。
Now, we're going to make sure that you come to the meeting this time. Sure.
お二人は左右の手をどうぞ。私は後ろから襟首を掴んでいますから。
Each of you take one of his hands. I will stand behind him and hold his collar. You don't need to do that. I'm not going to run away.
そしてパンターベルは長い体を利用して マサヤさんの首をギュウギュウしてくれるそうですよ。
Panterbell is saying he will use that long body of his to wrap tightly around your neck. Wouldn't that kill me?
首の皮一枚は残してくれるそうです。
He says that he will leave a hair spread. That's nice, but I still think it will kill me.
けどあんた何してたのよ。リセさんの話だと授業が終わるとすぐ逃げるみたいに教室を出て行っちゃうってことだけど。
But what have you been doing? According to Rise-san, you always bolt the minute class ends. Look, let's just go to the entranceway. The reason I haven't been around for the past 2 or 3 days should be there again today, I think. The 3 girls exchanged a curious glance. They actually did grab me by both arms and around the collar, and we all headed for the entryway. When we arrived at my shoebox, they finally let me go, and I opened the door. Huh, I knew it!
何がよ。
What is it? I suddenly showed her the love letter. It was true that I couldn't afford to miss any more meetings. It was no good hiding it any longer.
これって。
This is...
まあ。
my...
ラブレタ
All their eyes. A love letter? A love letter. Not so loud. It was the end of the day, so there were a lot of people around. Look, I'll explain at Maria Hall.
当然よ。ちゃんと聞かせていただかなければね。
You certainly will. I should like to hear all about this.
今日は楽しい会合になりそうね。
This looks like it will be a fun meeting.
それで相手の人のことはどう思ってるのよ。
Well, what do you think of the girl who sent it to you? As we entered the room, Chio spoke up before I could even open my mouth. Well, I don't think anything about her, really.
はあ？何よそれ。
Huh? What do you mean?
特にどうとも思わないままもてあそんでいたという。
You don't think anything about her? So you're just stringing her along?
なるほどね。これが男というものだったのね。
I see. This is how men are, as they say. No, wait a minute here. Just listen to what I have to say.
ええ、まあそうね。事情も聞かないうちから糾弾するのはフェアとは言えないわね。
Well, alright. It would hardly be fair to censure you without hearing your side of things. Look, I should apologize for skipping out on our meetings. I'm really sorry.
もうそんなことについてはどうでもいいわ。
No one cares about that right now. Huh?
あ、いえ、そう、こういうやむを得ない事情があったのなら仕方がないわねっていう、そういうこと。
I mean, there's no use worrying about it now. It was unavoidable, after all. Huh, right.
やむを得ない事情ってこともないわよ。単に女の子と会っていただけなんだし。
It was so not unavoidable. He just went to meet a girl. I didn't meet her. Huh? She's been sending me love letters every day. I held up the love letter as I explained, but I've never met her even once.
どういうこと？
What do you mean? Ayaka-san said that the girl is very shy. She says she's testing me in a way. She wants to see if I do what she tells me in her love letters or not.
どんなことが書いてあるの？
What does she tell you to do? All the stuff like telling me to wait for her at certain place and time.
それは普通のことよね。
I suppose that's rather normal. Then it was stuff like watering the flowers or doing a certain number of push-ups. That's weird. Then yesterday it was to do some shadow boxing, stuff like that.
何よそれは。
What nonsense is that? I guess she likes strong men?
いえ、そういうことではなくて、だって変じゃない。
Yeah, I think Hayaka's really messing with us. No, that isn't what I meant. But it's rather strange, isn't it? Well, I guess. It had felt strange to me too. I decided to go along with it thanks to Ayaka-san's advice, but...
なんだか妙な こからか見ているということですか？
What a very curious story. And you say that this girl watches you from afar while you do these things? Apparently so.
何者なの相手は。
Who is she? I don't know that either.
わからないの？
You don't? She only writes her title on the notes, so I don't know her real name.
なんていう一名？
What is the title? Plathrough.
プレザントリー？聞いたことないわね。
Plathrough? I've never heard of it before. What, really?
ええ、ルリコさんはご存知？
Yes. Have you heard of it, Yuriko-san?
私も初耳です。
I never have.
私も。
Neither have I. Huh? That's weird. When scenes was shut off from the outside world, I thought everyone knew everyone. Which means... Ayaka-san said that she was well known.
有名人？
Well known? As a shy beauty. Hmm?
シャイな美少女ねえ。だからあんた頑張ってるわけだ。
A shy beauty. Huh? So that's why you're doing all this? Maybe. That's not the only reason though.
そりゃ容姿だけじゃないだろうけどさ。
Well, even if it's not all about looks. Oh, hang on a minute. I cut her off and opened the love letter.
ちょっと何も私たちの前で読まなくてもいいでしょ？
Hey, you don't have to read it in front of us. I know, but a lot of the time there's a strict time limit on what she wants me to do.
時間がギリギリ？それもよくわからない話ですが。
A strict time limit? I'm not sure I understand. Still, I didn't want to announce her private message to everyone, so I covered it with my hand and read it silently. What's all this?
なんて書いてあったの？
What did she write? Apparently my surprise showed openly on my face. Cho looked at me with suspicion. No, well, it's...
ちょっと見せなさいよ。
Come on, let me see. I can't, it's a love letter.
ケチ。
Stingy. I don't think that's the problem. I quickly shut the love letter in my bag. But, do I really have to do this? The letter said, this is the last one. It also said if you complete this final task, I'll know that I can trust you. I've done everything else. I can't just back down now.
ところで、プレザントリーってどういう意味でしたでしょうか？
By the way, what does pleasant Terry mean?
あんまり聞き覚えがない単語なのよね。千穂さんはわかる？
I'm not familiar with the word myself. Chio-san, do you know?
ううん。
No.
では後で辞書で調べてみます。意味さえわかればピンとくる人はいるかも。
I will have to consult my dictionary. The meaning may give us a hint as to her identity.
実際誰なのかしらね。本当にそんな人いるのかしら。
I do wonder who it is. Could such a person really exist? Oh, she's sending me letters. True.
それでのんびりしていていいわけ？
Anyway, do you have time to hang around? Yeah, she wants me to do this at 3 o'clock today. Classes ended in the morning on Saturday, so there were 3 hours left before then.
で、場所はどこなの？
Well, where's it going to be? Are you planning to come and watch?
何言ってるの？そんなはずないでしょ？
But, what are you talking about? Of course not. Well, it doesn't really matter. But I'd rather you not watch this time. She asked for something really strange this time.
変なこと？ラブレターに？
Something strange? In the love letter? Yeah.
よくわからないけど、あんたそんな相手でも彼女が欲しいわけ？
I don't really get it. Are you so desperate for a girlfriend you'd go for someone like that? No, Well, it's more like a bitter smile came to my lips and I ran a hand through my hair. The best way I can put it is, I want friends.
友達
Friends? I told you earlier about how I spent the past year. I was really lonely. I'm sick of feeling like a mole living above ground.
マサヤ
Messiah. So when I came to Vincennes, I decided I wanted as many friends as possible. It sucks that there's no guys around, of course, but still. Plus, Terry might be a little strange, but I still want to meet her at least once. She went through all that trouble to approach me after all. Besides, I need as many supporters as I can get here.
そうね
Yes, that's true. Anyway, I guess that's all I have to say. Can we start the meeting?
いえそろそろ30分経つし特に話し合う議題もないわけだから今日はこれで終わりでいいと思います
No, we've been here 30 minutes, and we have no particular business to discuss. I believe we can end here. Got it. Anyway, I'm heading out.
マサヤさんにも思うところはあるということなのね
Messiah-san does have his reasons, I suppose.
うん
Yeah,
マサヤさんの傷だらけの心私で癒せたらいいのですが
perhaps I could soothe Messiah-san's battered heart.
何よそれは
What's that supposed to mean?
何か変でしょうか
Have I said something strange?
とりあえず傷だらけというほどではないと思うけど
Anyway, I think battered might be going a little too far.